The absolute worst part about owning a business is being so busy that it actually feels like you're just working a job, except you don't have the security a typical job will give you. So today I'm gonna show you how to take all of this busy work that's eating up every single hour of your day and your weeks and turn it into a system that will work on its own and permanently solve this issue for you so you can actually focus on growing your business. Chances are right now you find yourself doing tasks that realistically you shouldn't be doing. Today I'm gonna show you how you can build a permanent mechanism that runs all of this busy work for you so you can actually focus on growing your business. Okay, quick exercise before we start. I want you to think about your last work week or maybe your last month and identify how much of your time was spent on things that you actually like doing or you're actually good at doing. Look, I'm a business owner. You're watching this, I'm assuming you're a business owner. Realistically, we're only good or we only like doing one or two things. Everything else we just tolerate because either it makes us a lot of money or we need to do it to keep the business afloat. So think about what are the things you've done in the past week or the past month that were actually things you like to do. For example, maybe that's acquisition, whether that's client or customer acquisition. Maybe that's marketing. Maybe that's organic content. Maybe that's paid ads. Who knows, right? Those might be the things you like to do, but then there's other things that you just tolerate doing, like reporting, like training employees, like creating SOPs, like client communication, customer success management. Maybe you're stuck moving data between 5 different tools. Maybe you're stuck fixing an automation that broke and you don't know why it broke and you don't know how to fix it, or you don't like dealing with all of that stuff. Unfortunately, most of the business owners I talk to spend majority of their time doing the things they don't like to do and a minority of the time doing the things that they actually like to do or the things that they're best at. So in this video, like I said, I want to show you how you can implement a proprietary system. This is a system that you own that will cost you literal pennies, like say $40 a year if you actually run a business at scale. I'm serious, like $40 a year. This is nothing compared to all these software costs that you're paying for. I'm gonna show you how to set up and implement this system and let it run for you forever. This is real revenue driving use cases for AI. We only focus on driving more revenue on this channel. We don't do anything with AI that doesn't make us money. All we do is implement agentic or AI systems that actually attribute to revenue. And the best thing for you is, even if you have zero experience with doing anything with AI, maybe you've heard of Claude Code, right? You've heard of Gemini, you've heard of Codex, you saw the headlines of Fable coming out. They ask, how can I leverage AI in my business? It's slightly the wrong way of thinking, right? That's how you get lost in this AI slop trap, where you're just implementing a bunch of things that aren't actually helping you make more money. They're just distracting you, they're taking time. The right question you need to ask is, what specific tasks, processes, workflows within my business should not have to touch my hands? What should I not have to focus on that I will see the highest ROI from automating? That's where you need to start. You don't start with AI. You start with what needs to be fixed. It's very important that you understand that, because if you are AI first, you're gonna go down this rabbit hole of a bunch of slop, and I promise you, you're just gonna waste your time. You're gonna waste your time. I'm sorry. Focus on your business. Get back to reality. Don't outsource your thinking to AI. Think about your business. What is the highest leverage area of your business that you can automate? That's where you need to ground yourself in. I can't tell you how many people I've seen or worked with that have entire library full of half-built AI systems that they started and then they got to a point of friction and then they stopped. That is not what I want to show you to do. That is the single-handedly biggest time waster in the current months now that AI has become mainstream. My goal in this video is to help you reach your desired outcomes. And your desired outcomes is either making more money or getting back more time. Now, before we actually get started, you need to pick a specific workflow that you want to automate or make more efficient. If your business operates primarily online, which should be most of you, 90%, 95% of businesses run primarily online nowadays, chances are you're familiar with a tool like Zapier or Make.com or any of these automation softwares that help you connect things like your CRM to your scheduler like Calendly, or connecting Calendly to your email service provider, or connecting that to your payment processor. A lot of the times we all use different softwares for different things, and we need a tool that can connect all of those tools properly. Most people end up using Zapier for this. And because of that, Zapier likes to charge an excessive amount of money. So because Zapier likes to charge an excessive amount of money, and when zaps break, they don't like to really show you how they broke or tell you how to fix it, that's where I want to start for this video. I want to help you connect things like your CRM to your landing page, to your scheduler, to your application, to your email service provider, to your payment processor. I want to show you how you can connect all of these things together so they work together, so the data is shared for basically free. Like literally this entire system might cost you like $40 a month. You know, if you're running at scale, $400, $500, $600 Zapier bills. So not only are you having a more efficient process, but you're also saving money right away. So that's where I want to start. Without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, so for the sake of this video, I am going to be building out a client reporting system. That's what I'm going to use as an example. Quick disclaimer, the topics I go over, the frameworks I show you, the concepts I show you, they apply to any business. They apply to any system you might want to build or any workflow or process that you might want to optimize. They also apply to any model you might choose. Maybe that's Claude Code, maybe that's Codex, maybe that's Gemini, maybe that's Cursor. This is a model agnostic video, model agnostic framework. It's business agnostic, it's system agnostic. This truly applies to everything. This is a meta level understanding of how to go about implementing real mechanisms into your business. So step one, which is the step that everyone likes to skip, is planning this like a true business owner, planning it like a true operator. What you'll find is when you truly take the time to plan something out, you understand it better. Not only does the AI understand it better, which is the goal of this, but you actually understand it better. You're not outsourcing your thinking to AI. You're not delegating critical thinking and judgment to a machine. Here's the thing, AI needs to have accurate information so it can build what you want to build correctly. But two, let's just say for some reason it was able to build it correctly. It built it, and now you need to use it, but you don't understand how it works. Now, you don't need to be a nerd. You don't need to be a full line by line code, understand everything, but you need to have a broad understanding of how the things are configured. I promise you don't need to be an expert, but you trust me, you need to have a broad understanding. And what you'll find is when you list out a bunch of questions, you can see I have 25 right here, and I'm gonna go through this. When you list out a bunch of questions and you provide answers for them, it forces you to actually think about what you want to build. You think about all the dependencies. You think about every single thing. You have a 360 understanding of what you're actually trying to do. Most people, they open up a fresh ChatGPT chat or a Claude chat and they say, Claude, build me a client reporting system. They give it no information. Claude starts building and guessing and spits back some half-built system that doesn't actually do what the person wants it to do. Who would have figured? You gave it no information. Of course it doesn't work when you put in real data. Do not skip the planning session. I know I was yapping. Do not skip the planning session. Now, what I like to do is actually plan it out and have a 360 understanding. You can see I have 25 questions here. I treat it as if I'm training a new employee. You don't just bring on a new employee and send them to work. Okay, go work and expect them to actually do good. You have to train them. You have to give them context. You have to let them know about your business. You need to let them know what is the business you do? What is the service you provide? What are the products you deliver? Who are the type of clients you work with? How does the onboarding cycle work? You know, how long is your average client duration cycle? All of these things you need to be able to put down on paper or, you know, in a Google Doc and be able to provide that for the AI. So let's look at some of these questions. You can see, what exactly is this system's job? Who's the end user? What decisions should the client be able to make after reading it? What platforms are we pulling from? Do we have API access? I made this with AI for the sake of this video, but you can see these questions are covering the entirety of the build. Now, how can you get this done? It's very, very simple. You open up either Codex, Claude Code, or Cursor, whatever it is, and you go into plan mode and you tell it what you want to build. And I'll give you a hack. Use Whisperflow. You can see right here, I have this keyboard. All I have to do is hold these two buttons down and it basically listens to me talk. Look up Whisperflow, download it. It'll make your life a bunch easier. Hold down the buttons, use Whisperflow, and just brain dump. Tell the AI what you want to do. If it's a client reporting system, I'm gonna either type or send an audio message and say, hey, I run XYZ business. I wanna build a client reporting system so I can do XYZ, yada, yada, yada. Here's the easiest way to go about it. You open up Claude Code, you open up Codex, whatever it is, turn on plan mode, and then tell it, ask me every single question that you need answered in order to build this system correctly. It's as simple as that. When you do that, it's going to spit out a list of questions just like this that you should provide answers to, because it's going to think of all of the dependencies. It's going to think of all the implications that go into this system that you told it wants to build, and it's going to spit out all these questions. Now, when you answer all the questions and you provide it back to you, here's the trick. Tell it to ask you what more questions it has. If it gives you another 25 questions, it doesn't matter. Answer them. I promise you, you are going to thank me in the long run. This is the type of thing where you want to front load effort for the first 10%, and then the rest of the 90% is going to be smooth sailing. I promise you, that's just how this works. You need to front load it with as much information and context as possible so it can accurately build out your system, whatever it is. In this case, it's a client reporting system. The key thing you need to understand about AI is that it's a mirror. If the output it gives you is low quality, that means your thinking was low quality. If you can provide clear instructions to AI, it is going to give you exactly what you asked for. But if you're vague, if you don't give it context, if you just command it to do something, you're not gonna get any results. It's the same thing if you hire an employee, you're not gonna get the result. Now, one more thing I'm gonna give you that is going to make your life 10 times easier. It's called a Northstar markdown file. Simple as this. I just pasted it from another file I had. This is for the client reporting system. Yes, I had AI generate this, but it's for the sake of the video. You can apply this to whatever you're building. When you answer all these questions, right? And you put them into an AI, and now it's gonna spit out a plan. Before you actually start building, you're going to want to create a Northstar doc. All this is, and it's gonna be different every time. For every one of you, it's gonna look different. For every build you do, it's gonna look different. But after you answer the initial questions, after you do the initial planning, whatever you're using, Claude Code, Codex, it's gonna spit out a plan. What you wanna do is turn that plan that it spits out into a Northstar document. This Northstar document is going to cover all of the phases of the build, all of the steps that has to go into it. It's going to cover the end-to-end plan, essentially. You want to have this and you want to store it, because what you'll find when you go into phase 1 and then you go into phase 2 and then you go into phase 3, if you're relying on the AI, it's going to forget. It's going to start drifting, right? You want to have this Northstar document that it can route back to every single session. This is the source of truth. It's like coloring within the lines, like a coloring book. If you don't have this document, it's not going to color within the lines. That's the only analogy I could come up with. You want to have a Northstar document. Again, all this is just a source of truth of the end-to-end plan of what you want to build. Before you draft this, you cannot draft the Northstar document until after you answer all of the questions. If you still don't understand what these questions are, brain dump into the chat window, tell it to ask you all the questions it needs answers to effectively build out what you want. That's literally all this is. Answer these questions, provide it back to it. It's gonna spit out a plan. Once it spits out the plan, say, I want to create a Northstar document so we have a source of truth to make sure that we don't drift once we begin this build. It's that simple. This is the planning part of everything. Okay, so step 2, believe it or not, is actually one of the easier part, and this is where we actually start building. So this is a very AI focused part, right? This is where we're talking about AI. Now, to be clear, you're first going to take all of these questions, and if you listen to what I said before, your AI should already have this. You're already gonna be talking to it, you're already gonna be planning with it, it's gonna spit out these questions, you're gonna answer them, you're gonna paste them back, and then it's gonna spit out a plan. When it spits out the plan, you're gonna turn that plan into a Northstar doc, right? A Northstar plan, Northstar doc, Northstar file, whatever you want to call it. You're then going to take that Northstar plan, you're going to take those questions, which it should already have the questions, right? You're just going to paste them right here. You're going to upload them right here, and you're simply going to say, let's begin the build. Right? Now, to be extremely clear, I'm in Claude right now. There's Codex, there's Claude, there's Gemini, there's Cursor. You need to understand, I want to help you not waste a bunch of money. There's Haiku, never use that. There's Sonnet. Use this for maybe like copywriting things. Use this for like tasks. Right now we're building, so we're not going to use Sonnet. Fable. Yes, you can use Fable. Yes, it's going to cost you a lot of money. Yes, it's going to take a long time, probably like an hour for the task to actually complete. Look, I want to keep it extremely simple for you. If you're a beginner, or even if you're intermediate, or honestly, even if you're an expert, you're going to understand what I'm saying. Just use Opus 4.8. If you're using Codex, just use GPT 5.5. Or whatever the equivalent is, if this video, if new things come out when you're watching this video, whatever the equivalent is, just use that. By the time you're probably watching this, Fable won't be free, and it's gonna cost you a lot of money, and it's not worth actually using for every single task. So be extremely careful when you use it. To be clear, use Fable or an equivalent supermodel, even Opus to an extent, for large, long-running builds. Do not use it for small builds. If anything, it would make the most sense to use Fable for the first step of a build. When you're building out the whole foundation, that's when it would make sense to use something like Fable. Look, just use Opus, just use GPT 5.5. Now, when it comes to all of the different models and platforms, AI tools, it really doesn't matter. Use what you like to use. I like using Claude Code for more creative things like UI, right? Claude Design. I like using it for UI. I like using it for copywriting. I personally, when I'm building infrastructure, like real database stuff, I like using Codex. Now, I recommend you use Codex or Claude Code. Pick whichever one you want. It doesn't matter. You shouldn't depend on models in the first place. Now, while that builds, it's very important that you understand this. Look, remember, we're talking about Zapier, right? Zapier is a very inefficient way to route all of your business tools together. Whether it's Zapier or Make, whatever you're using, look, you're renting this system. At scale, it costs you egregious amount of money every single month. It's all tangled up, and this doesn't make sense. You got your CRM, you got your calendar, you got your email. It's all connected, but it's like a spider web. It's all tangled. It's like a ball of yarn, and it's expensive. That's the most important thing. It's expensive. Here's the difference. You can build what Zapier is in its current form, but more efficient on your own, doing what I'm showing you right now. Within Claude Code, within Codex, you can build a connection between all of your business tools, your CRM, your email, Slack, all your applications, all of your payments, your calendar. You can connect it all to a system that you owned. And no, it's not truly $0. It's like $40 a year. So technically, yes, it is $0, honestly. The most important thing about this that I want you to understand is when you use external tools, you are limited to the visibility that they give you. And when I say visibility, I'm talking about data. I'm talking about things moving within your business. It's expensive, but you can't even see everything that's going on. When you own your system, you have full AI nativity. You have full readability. You're able to extract every piece of data within your business. When you use an external CRM and your emails and Zapier, you're limited to the analytics that they show you. When you own the system, you can quite literally fire up any AI, ChatGPT, whatever it is, ask a question, and you'll be able to get that answer promptly because all of that data is right there and it's readily available. Why? Because you actually own it. You guys might have heard of a guy named Jeff Bezos. Ever seen this guy? If you don't know him, maybe you know his company called Amazon. Well, here's the thing that you really want to understand about this. Amazon's not even his most profitable company. This is his most profitable company, AWS. What is AWS? This is a cloud compute, web service, infrastructure, hosting platform, all that good stuff, right? Funny enough, AWS makes more than Amazon. Do you want to know how this came about? They built this for Amazon. They were growing too fast and their engineers built AWS as an internal infrastructure for their own company. After they built it out, they were using it and it worked really well and they owned everything and they thought, we have all these other companies hyping us up. They're interested in our AWS. Let's rent it out to them. So they started renting this out and now this is the backbone of the internet. Like YouTube runs on AWS. Almost every piece of the internet runs on AWS. Why? Because Jeff Bezos sat there, thought like a real operator. He looked at all this work and all of this BS that was making everyone at his company busy and halting growth. And he thought, let's build our own infrastructure so we own it. How much is AWS worth? Let's see. 2.61 trillion. If that doesn't get you hype, I don't know what will. I want to be explicitly clear. If you take a little bit of extra time to build out your own systems, not only are those systems going to help your business make a lot more money, but you might mess around and actually start selling those systems to other people. It's very important to understand that when you do this, when you front load that effort, build your own systems, you've created leverage within your business. You've increased margin within your business because now you're not paying for all these softwares. You're actually in control of your business. You save time. So now you can focus on growing the business. There's infinite upside to building your own infrastructure. And that's all I'm trying to show you in this video. If I sat here and did a whole entire build with you, which I can do, but no one's going to watch it because it does take a couple hours. It does take time, but this framework that I showed you, just planning it out with all these questions and having a Northstar doc, that's all you need to know. If you can take these questions, if you can go to AI, brain dump about everything you want to build, tell it, ask me all the questions that you need answered in order to build this efficiently, it's going to spit out the questions just like this. If you just put answers right under the questions, you copy and paste it, you paste it back into Claude Code or Codex, whatever you want, it spits out a plan. You say, okay, based off this plan, let's build a comprehensive Northstar document that we can use as a source of truth while we go through this build. It's going to spit it out, and then you're just going to upload it back into that session. And then you're going to say, let's begin. Yes, from there's going to be more work that you need to do, but I can't tell you how that's going to look because it's going to be whatever you're building. Like I said, I can have other videos where I show you exactly how to build everything, but it's going to be a long time. You don't have the attention span to watch it. You're probably on TikTok right now and you have me in the corner with the little play thing. Maybe you don't, I don't know. Long story short, if you can just front load with a little bit of extra effort, the compound on it is absolutely crazy. I promise you, it did not cost Amazon that 2.61 trillion to build AWS. It took them probably 2 years. And think about this is early 2000s. This is no Claude Code. So what took them 2 years can take you a couple of days, maybe one day with Fable. Who knows? The opportunity is endless. You know, some of you might be worried about, okay, well, what if it breaks? That is a valid concern. But here's the thing. If you're using external tools, those tools break as well. They do. And they don't really tell you how to fix it. But the beauty of having things readable by AI, this is the real beauty. If something breaks, you can simply ask AI, what happened? How do we fix? Let's implement the solution. Because you own the infrastructure, everything is readable by AI. It can access every single data point. Therefore, it can identify the exact problem. It can come up with the exact solution. It built the whole system, so it can implement that solution. Now, wait till I show you how to automate that process and have an alert system and an agent that goes in and implements those fixes before you even figured out it happened. There's endless opportunity with this. I hope you just take this as inspiration to start thinking about this unwanted work that you do and all of these busy work and all these problems that you have within your business. And I hope you take the time to truly think about solving them with AI. Okay, so let's zoom out because this isn't just about AI. What really happened was you took a pile of work that you hate doing, you thought about it like a real operator, like a real business owner, and you architected a system. You built that system, and now that system is working for you permanently, 24/7 around the clock, and it costs you infinitely less than all of these softwares that you were paying 4 figures per month for. You got time back, you saved a lot of money, and most importantly, you now have the capacity to actually grow your business and focus on what you're best at. That's the whole shift I want you to understand. Look, all of these softwares, we think that we need them, right? All they're doing is doing the same thing we just did. They think about a system, they architect a workflow that's more efficient, they build it, and then they sell it back to you. The difference is now we're more capable. We have all these AI tools. It's easier than ever to build software and build systems. So don't rely on all of these softwares. You can build it for yourself. If you're the kind of person that watched through this whole video and actually understand what I was saying and planning on implementing it for yourself, I promise you, this is only the beginning. I promise you that once you start, you're never gonna look back. The only thing I will say, do not build a bunch of half-built automations and just have a library of a bunch of half-built stuff. Start with the highest leverage point that you can start with. Whatever workflow that is, whatever area of your business that is, whatever specific system that is, start there, build out an automation like I just walked you through, follow the exact frameworks, and I promise you, you're gonna save so much money, you're gonna make so much more money, and you're never gonna look back. If you do wanna learn more about all of this stuff, obviously you can like, subscribe, you can follow me on Instagram. You can also join AI Drivers, where I not only show you how to build all these things, but I actually provide you the systems that we use for our business. We've helped over 100 businesses at this point. They're all making a lot of money. I'll pop some wins right here. Here are all the wins that you can see. I'm not trying to self-promote, but I am trying to self-promote. I appreciate you all for watching. Please like the video if you enjoyed it. Thank you, I appreciate you, and I will see you in the next one.